Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren that's teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the Akwaf out there that's listening and learning in your proper position. Shalom unto you. And shalom to the elect, 144,000. And the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Dhamma Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and I was listening to this video from the Common Sense show, which, he's going into the last oil tanker just arrived in the U.S. Excuse me. And he's basically going into how basically Babylon, America is cooked. And what you people really have to look forward to is everything that we've been prophesying and telling you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, is hyperinflation, scarcity, famines, plagues, the love of many waxing cold, people getting ready to start invading one another for the lack of bread, and how things are just about to get terribly tight. And the Lord is about to bring some heavy judgments upon Babylon the Great. And you people here in America are getting ready to suffer. And how this guy Trump is basically, allowing this country to basically implode. And things are not finna get better. Gas is about to be even more expensive than it already is. He speaks about how, pretty soon if this gas keeps going and it gets to about $7, that a lot of these truckers are not going to work because they're not going to make any profit. The Lord is getting ready to really do a number here on Babylon the Great, and shit is getting ready to hit the fan here. And this is why we've been warning you Jakes for the longest, to repent, to get yourself right with Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, to seek your creator, in the days of your youth before the evil days come. And now those evil days are drawing nigh. And it's getting ready to hit Babylon like a ton of bricks, man. All right. And as we know, hey, Lord willing, if we're of the elect, the scriptures say that my prophets shall eat, my prophets shall drink, And that's where we're putting our faith and our hope is in the names of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, when these times come. And they're arriving quickly, man. And we know the biggest sufferers when things like this happen is going to be you women and you children. A lot of you women who are with men of the Lord and you dipped out, you put them on child support, you called them crazy. You went to child support, told the judge that he's in a cult and they hate white people and, all these other things that you have done to exact your revenge or to, to bring some type of evil upon, brothers that you was with in this truth. But you, went to Big Daddy Esau to get your lick back or to stick it to him. Hey, you're about to get it stuck to you, man. And basically, he's just telling you about just how bad it's about to get here in this country. So I'm going to play some of this video. I got some precepts and Lord willing, you can be edified, but let's go.
There was once, and it ran on TNT, a great series.
And fair use. Okay. I'm not monetizing this video. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm just using it for, informational purposes. Okay.
Ran, I think, 4 or 5 years. It was called The Last Ship. Michael Bay was the producer, really kind of beneath his level to come down to smaller network TV. I think he was sending a message. But anyway, the story had multiple parts to it. It started out with a huge pandemic that swept the globe and wiped out 80% of the people, and they worked on trying to cure it and so forth and so on. And then they had massive food shortages due to implanted disease that infiltrated the crops. And then there was a Red Dawn invasion. And those were the 3 central themes of that show. Well, we have a Last Ship too. And if Michael Bay was still making The Last Ship, this would undoubtedly be another season with a different theme, because the last ship has sailed. Different theme, because the last ship has sailed. And this is bad news for you and me. We'll explain it right here on the Common Sense Show. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host. We're the show, freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. It's not a question about if we're going to have a recession. It's a question about how severe the recession would be. And I can offer you something that is absolutely recession proof because it's coming from one of the protected cows in the economy that will not go down no matter what happens to the economy. And it takes advantage of IRS code 7702. And it's my good friends from Ironhawk Financial that can help you set up all kinds of insurance and so forth, IULs. But here's the deal. You draw from it, you make money on it, and it's tax-free, and it's perfectly legal because it's what the super rich.
All right, let me pause it there. He's just trying to, spit about some advertisements. But anyways.
The bank is the worst place you can put it right now for reasons we're actually going to discuss in later segments. Just to say this, Dodd-Frank 2010, they can keep your money anytime they feel like it. That's right. They wrote that into law after the collapse in 2008. They wrote it into law in 2010. Don't let them do that to you. Let the people at Ironhawk Financial consult with you. No pressure whatsoever. Go to dhawk.com. That's dhawk.com. And let them guide you through the process. Well, the last ship has indeed sailed. The last oil tanker, with a couple of minor exceptions, okay? But basically, we're talking about the last ship has sailed with oil. It left port on February 27th, the day before the war started. And now it's arrived at port. And from here on out, we're living on what I call borrowed oil. It's a phrase I invented kind of spontaneously when I was on the Kim Iverson show. She has a great show, by the way. If you've not checked that out, you should go there. And she took our interview and divided it into 3 parts. And one of the parts was I said, listen, we're soon going to get the last ships. Well, we now have the last ship. And what this means is skyrocketing prices. I don't need to be Nostradamus, or as my friends call me, Nostrahadges, to be able to predict this. It's supply and demand. It's common sense. Prices are going to astronomically go up. And I said this on Kim's show, and I've said it for a couple of years now. If diesel ever reaches $6.50 and it stays there for any length of time, truckers aren't going to work. They can't make money. Now, some people will say, Dave, it has to be $7.50. Okay. We could argue that point, but we are headed towards that disaster right now without splitting hairs. Let's admit what's going on. Hyperinflation is coming. Shortages are coming. Fertilizer issues are coming. We've already talked about that, and that's even in the mainstream media. How are we going to get our fertilizer? We're coming up here in a few months to harvest season. So even if the spigot got turned back on today, let's see, what is that, about a 3-month journey with a tanker? Do you understand what I'm telling you? So, listen, I don't do a lot of advertising for My Patriot Supply because I've got contracts with other people. But I will say this right now. If you're not storing food, you're nuts. And these people are really the best at what they do. And they got great specials. Go to preparewithdave.com. That's
Yeah, you see? So this place is getting ready to fill it, And like you said, even if they do, open the strait back up, it's going to be months before that oil can get here and, things can start, I wouldn't say immediately start running smooth, but for that flow to even to get back here. So can you imagine? People right now are barely living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are struggling right now with the prices of things. Can you imagine, this hyperinflation was to hit? And I believe it's not, and they're not going to open the Strait of Hormuz up anytime soon. So these hyperinflation prices are going to hit hard here. And you already got a lot of these places like Walmart and Sam's Club. They're already preparing to start limiting how many, limiting how many things you can buy once you go to the store, because they know that, the goods are not going to be, routinely coming in like they're used to. So it's just about to bring extra hell and an extra strain on here on Babylon the Great, because we know these elites are trying to get rid of this old system and bring in the new system. And part of them bringing in the new system, if they have to totally collapse the system that we're in right now. And they're going to continue to devalue the dollar, continue to make things more expensive, Well, things are not getting more expensive. It's just that your you know the the power of your dollar is diminishing. So it's not like, that car costs more money, or that food or those steaks cost, are worth more. It's just it takes more dollars to get those goods and services, man. Which is further showing you that this place Babylon the Great, America, is finished, man. And these devils are looking to bring in this NWO. So this is Jeremiah 51:7 in the NLT. It says, Babylon has been a gold cup in Yahweh's hands, a cup that made the whole earth drunk. The nations drank Babylon's wine, and it drove them all mad. But suddenly too, but suddenly Babylon too has fallen. Weep for her, give her medicine. Perhaps she can yet be healed, but she's not going to be healed. You see, there's no type of financial, or economic package, or or situation that can be done that's going to fix the problems economically, that's going to help Babylon, or that's going to stop the bleeding. Like he said, everything that's happening is all intentionally leading to this place imploding. It's going to lead to inflation, even hyperinflation. It's going to lead to more and more harder times. It's going to be more protests, more uproars of the people, more sedition, more rioting, more love of many waxing cold. And it's going to eventually lead to Second Ezra, the 16th chapter, where people invading one another for the lack of bread. And it's going to bring famine and straitness and desperation. And all hell breaking loose here in this society. It says, we would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured. You see? And this is why I quoted Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, about remembering thy creator in the days of thy youth before the evil days come, man. Because these evil times in the fall of America is coming. And it's going to start economically. And then eventually it's going to be socially. You're going to have that civil war. You're going to have race wars, food wars, just complete calamity and chaos here, man. A desperation setting in, Insurrection Act is going to have to be eventually enacted. Martial law is going to get completely buck wild out here, man. And it's going to all come from the fall of Babylon the Great. What the fuck, man? All from the fall of Babylon the Great. Let this shit go by,
and they got great specials. Go to preparewithdave.com. That's preparewithdave.com. You need to get ready for what's coming with the food. Absolutely, positively. Now, let's continue on with this analysis. So the just-in-time deliveries could stop in July. This is the projection I'm reading. And even if the oil is turned back on, we're going to have months of hardship. Now, I'm not saying we can't come out the other side okay, but we won't come out whole and totally intact. We'll come out maybe in survival mode. But there are some people who are living month to month that can't absorb this. Oh, how many people is that? Well, let me give you a stat you've heard me talk about. 65% of America, 2 out of 3 Americans can't afford a $500 car repair bill. They're living month to month. Oh, the rich are rich beyond belief. No, I don't want to sound like Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. Wealth is bad, says billionaire Bernie. Yeah, he's worth over $1 billion. Ocasio-Cortez was once a bartender, and now she's a multimillionaire. Isn't that nice how insider trading works for them? And it would send you and I to prison. And you wonder why I am so sour on what's going on, and I'm calling for tossthemall.com. And me saying that is why my views are hit the toilet. And it happened 6 weeks ago, and this is happening across the board. Anyone who starts a movement, is suffering in views, and we are looking for a new home, and we're going to phase out. That's another story for another time. But the reality is this: we are facing monumental problems because everything that you buy, everything that you need, comes from oil. You go, well, Dave, I have my own garden. Okay, where do you get the fertilizer? Where are you going to get your toilet paper from? It's shipped. It's shipped and cost.
You see, and these elites are doing this shit intentionally, I was just checking out the brothers from London's video, GMS Fear the Most High 7, that was going into basically, the whole situation with, the Great Famine in Egypt. and how it resulted in the people being so desperate and so, desolate that they eventually, sold themselves over unto Pharaoh for grain and for food. And this is the scenario that these elites are producing, to where they're gonna basically leave everybody in a complete state of desperation, to where eventually, you'll be willing to give up your freedoms. You'll be willing to give up your morals and everything, just to have some type of comfort and to eat and to have food. And this is what the scenario these elites are creating, so they could, so you'll be more than willing to acquiesce to this new world order. You see? and like I said, I don't think these devils are gonna open that Strait of Hormuz anytime soon, because they need the chaos. They need you people to suffer. All right, they need more chaos, uncertainty, perplexity upon you people. So eventually, they're gonna let you people eventually go buck wild and crazy on one another. Instead of putting the anger and the blame where it truly belongs, which is on these elites. You see, now we know eventually it's going to be a sedition, and people are going to rise up against the powers that be. But, for the most part, these Americans are going to destroy and savagely ravage one another, before they ultimately, get at the elites.
Go and Walmart are already making provisions for the shortages. They're already got plans in play that are coming in at the end of this month, the beginning of next month, to limit purchases on certain items. This is going to be misery. And what are the social implications? Okay, up until now, when we've had people pissed off and you get hired mercenaries to get in the streets called Antifa and other people, okay, well, that was them. What we're going to see if this goes on through the summer, we're going to see average people in the streets.
Yeah, see?
I mean, literally, all hell could break loose. We're seeing airline flights canceled.
All right, let me get that. All right, this is let me get this. This is in 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight against one another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. You see, because these situations that these elites are creating with all of this sudden supply disruptions and hyperinflation, and the lack of and all this scarcity is going to cause desperate situations and desperate times, man. Where people are going to eventually fight against one another like enemies, man. And like I said, and these people are going to do a lot of that before eventually they turn their anger towards where it really belongs, which is on these international bankers, on these elites, man. This is 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, you see, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see, and this is why these elites and a lot of these well-to-do people are all buying these bunkers, man. And they're all, going to eventually go underground, go into their bunkers while all hell on the surface is breaking loose, People are going to be looking for these governors, for these mayors, for these politicians, But in the meantime, they're going to be ripping and tearing and invading one another when when the famine truly hits, man. You see, and these are the times that we have been prophesying are coming, and we can see, hey, this summer might be the point to where these things kick off, especially when this hyperinflation kicks in. And like he said, the last ship just came of oil, so they're going to raise the prices, man. And that's going to lead to what? More anger, more perplexity, more. You already see all these Edomites on YouTube crashing out because they can't afford the daily necessities. They're complaining about the gas. They're complaining about the price of food. They're complaining about just the price of living and just life in general, man. And it's only a matter of time before these people are going to ultimately lose it and snap. See, and this is the condition that these elites are creating because they need the chaos to bring the order out of it, man. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see? And the Lord is allowing Esau to bring these famines as what? As as scourges for amendment and as form of judgment upon 2/3 of you wicked ass Jakes, man. And for these people of the world. You see? It's going to get real, real bad out here, man. To where, things are not going to be as immediately available as they are now. Because right now, things are somewhat normal. Yeah, shit is expensive, but you still got, these little, even though fast food is expensive, you still can get you a relatively cheap meal here. Things are somewhat, all right still. But wait until this hyperinflation kicks in and, gas gets up to $12, $13, or that loaf of bread in the grocery store ends up being $15, $20, man. I just went grocery shopping this weekend, not that I buy a lot of red meat, but shit, I was just looking. I wasn't going to buy no red meat, but I was just looking at those little ass steaks, man. Shit was like $44, bro. $44 just for a pack of steaks. I saw a damn cowboy steak. That shit was like $65. Carne asada, that Sam's Club, which they selling in bulk, that shit was like damn near $50, bro. You just like, fuck that shit, man. The only thing that's still relatively affordable, which is still kind of high, is the chicken. So I just went and brought a couple of whole chickens, buy a lot of chicken, ground turkey, because it's a lot cheaper than the beef and the red meat. I always get my oxtail. I brought that, which is probably the most expensive form of meat that I buy, but hey, it is what it is, But hey, man, shit is getting more and more expensive, man. And you notice it every time you go to the grocery store, and these people are crashing out and losing it. So, hey, man, this table is being set for complete and utter chaos to break loose. But let's keep going.
Airline flights canceled right now, right before your eyes. We got a trip scheduled a little later in the summer, and I'm wondering if that flight's not going to get canceled. And I paid money to attend a venue and an activity, and I'm just wondering if that's money down the drain. But the worst thing that would happen is I get there and I get stranded and can't get home. And we were recently on vacation for a while, and you saw me in Studio B while we were gone, and I was hoping, boy, I'm hearing about all these flights in Europe, and I'm hearing even LA is canceling flights, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I hope we get home. That'd be the worst thing ever to get. Yeah, exactly. So we're looking at all the problems, and I'm telling you this right now. London is rioting, and I'm going to bring this back home. Have you seen the videos? Millions of people in the street across the UK. And Scotland's not far behind. I'm getting mail from Scotland. People that come to our show come on their own volition because they're certainly not getting an alert that we've done something. But they're coming to our show and they're saying, Dave, we're not far behind. We're starting to see the beginnings of protests ourselves. Australia is creating a whole government.
Yeah, see, that's why I just read that sedition amongst men, which is an uprising against the government. And not only because of, the rising fuel prices and the coming scarcity and the coming hyperinflation, but also people are getting ready to riot because of that digital ID a statement the so-called King of England just made, man. So it's just, this thing is boiling and it's ready to boil over, man. Like I said, it's just one situation away from these people ultimately just going complete ape shit and losing it.
Bureaucracy to censor the public because they're afraid of people organizing against government policy. That's in the news today. Well, how far behind do you think we're going to be? I mean, we've been betrayed by this administration. Do you think I say that lightly? Some people don't want to even hear me anymore because I worship the ground Donald Trump walks on. No, I supported him for 3 elections, 10 years. I did massive investigations into voting practices in Arizona. I made enemies. I made some friends and allies as well. But nonetheless, I stirred the pot because I was upset. And for what? For a man who's setting up business deals with foreign countries involving stablecoin and payment.
Right. And I just read an article where this said Trump is the most corrupt president that there has ever been. And you got a lot of these MAGAs and a lot of these people are getting infuriated by the moves that Trump are making, especially when he made that statement about how he don't really give a fuck about, the average American people and how they're struggling and the gas prices. My only concern is that Iran don't get a nuclear weapon. So he's literally just pissing and shitting all over you people that voted for him, all of you MAGAs, and calling it rain. And that's infuriating these people, man. So, hey, the Lord is, is setting this place up real nice, man, to where it's going to eventually blow over and it's going to be complete and utter chaos, man.
Plans that are benefiting his kids to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh, that's happening. We'll break it down for you right now. I think there's bigger news than that, the enrichment of a politician's family, but it's going on. The rich continue to get rich. They won't feel what's going on.
Right, and that's why, you got to read the book of James, the 5th chapter, woe to you, rich man. See, and then that's going to lead to, this whole sedition happening. And a lot of these politicians and these well-to-do people are going to start getting tarred and feathered, man. You already, and then you got these data centers and shit. So, hey, man, these people are going to absolutely eventually snap one day, man. You already got people throwing Molotov cocktails at these so-called, technocrats, these multi-billion-dollar technocrats, they're throwing Molotov cocktails at their houses. So it's only a matter of time before these prophecies come to pass, man. Hey, and you, Jake, getting ready to suffer as well, man, because of all of your wickedness and your pride, man. All right, and this is Ezekiel chapter 5, verse 5 and Ezekiel 5 and 16. It says, "When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, and which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you and will break your staff of bread." Talking about you Israelites. This happened then during the time of Ezekiel, and it's going to happen now. And we can see the stage being set for it. Let's read this in the NLT. It says, Ezekiel 5 and 16 in NLT, "I will shower you with deadly arrows of famine to destroy you. The famine will become more and more severe until every crumb of food is gone." You see? And that's how bad it's going to get out here, man. This is why cannibalism is going to come back in a major way here in Babylon the Great. You people are going to be eating rat burgers and pigeon burgers and whatever you can get your hands on, man. That's how bad and how straight the famine is going to get here. It says, "And along with the famine, wild animals will attack you and rob you of your children. Disease and war will stalk your land." Aren't we hearing about the Ebola virus? I did a video on that the other day about the Ebola virus, how they said Ebola does not respect borders. And then you got the Hunter virus, disease X and other things these devils are going to release out here as the forms of punishment from the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side, man. It says disease and war will stalk your land. Right. Don't the scriptures tell you that a lot of these women's husbands shall die in the war and of famine? See if I can get that. It says, "And I will bring the sword of the enemy against you. I, Yahweh, have spoken." You see? Let me see this. No husbands. I think that's in 2nd Ezra 16. Yep, here we go. It says, "The virgin shall mourn." I'll read up. It says, "And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegroom be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine." You see? Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold the word of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. As with a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 months of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and the sorrow shall come upon it on every side, man. You see? It says, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." You see? So you, Jakes, you got to prepare because these times are coming. And we know the majority of our people are not preparing for these times. They're hoping and praying that it don't happen. They're closing their ears and they're calling us crazy and they're telling us we don't want to hear that, as if it's still not going to happen, man. You see, these things are coming, and we've been telling you and prophesying, and they're hastening to come.
You won't feel what's going on, but you sure as hell will.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? You may qualify for the IRS Fresh Start.
All right,
Feel what's going on, but you sure as hell will. And you should be upset. And I'm going to say this again. If we get to the midterms, and who knows? I mean, Trump seems unconcerned about his polls, right? Would you agree with me on that? So if we get to the midterms If you vote for anyone, unless it's if Massey survives the Israeli lobby onslaught of $42 million being spent against him in the biggest congressional money to do it. People are in the streets there. People are going to be in the streets here. It's total chaos. I don't like it. I want peace, calm, quiet, the Constitution adhered, everyone's rights protected, anyone to worship what they want, say what they want, as long as they're not threatening anybody. I feel that we have lost those things, and we're about ready to come into a crisis. And when a crisis happens, a government uses authoritarian means to take control. And usually when governments take authoritarian control, they don't let go.
Right, and that's why he said, we feel like Trump don't care about his polls. He don't care because they know eventually, if it gets bad enough, he'll just suspend the elections. He'll enact the Insurrection Act and use these executive orders to be dictator forever, man. And he's going to bring in his Gestapo. He's going to bring in, his foreign troops to here on the land to wreak havoc and bring in that fiery multitude to come down upon you American people, man. So, hey, these times are here. These things are only going to accelerate. Hey, and these things all signify the end of this age and the return of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. But you've been warned, Jake. You better get right. Otherwise, hey, man, you're going to feel the fury of the Lord, man. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. All praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And to the next one, Shalom.